Hey everyone, this is James and my wife Darlis.
Hi guys.
Just wanted to go over like a story that happened in our lives, like lower in our faith walk, like the beginning of our faith walk.
Beginning.
It was after Ray Comfort, when we met Ray Comfort and his video series, and we were praying for an opportunity. It's like, God, just give us an opportunity to, we wanted to see where our faith was, at a point, and He gave it to us, and we see the failures in that now. But we did step out of our comfort zone.
Well, not that we completely failed when He gave us what we asked for.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
there's
we
more.
We
could
much more had we known more at the time. But we did follow through.
Yes. It started out with we took the dogs for a later walk than usual. I mean, it's like you can tell our God was sovereign in this whole thing. We wouldn't have been where we were at that time ever because we never walked him that time. We went out for a walk and we seen him. He was sitting outside my parents' church uptown, and I knew something was wrong with him. He just didn't look right. I thought it was a kid on drugs or something. And this was right during COVID when it was full blast and everyone was scared. So we walked right on by. I mean, more or less, and we started coming back the other way, and Blizzard pulls her way towards him. And he's talking about how pretty of a dog she is. And so that gave me I'm like, hey, is everything all right? And then he went through he was dropped off and he was there all day. Places wouldn't give him anything to drink and his phone was broke. And I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do I do? Do I put her, I'm thinking my wife and me, I'm like, what do I do now? I can't just leave this kid here. And we're on full blood COVID, so I'm like, let's just go back to the house and figure it out. And I was a little scared. And you want to say something too? Talk about the story a little bit, your experience.
Well, like when you said we walked on by, it was like, well, we were taking a different path.
Yeah.
We saw him there, but we were taking a different route. And then on our way back is when we were going by the church. We didn't purposely just
we didn't
walk by.
We like the Good Samaritan where we walked across the street. Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Yeah. But I do remember for me, like when I did see him when we were on our way back, and before Blizzard even made her way up to him. She's such a friendly dog.
Yeah, she pulled her way on over.
I was thinking in my mind, okay, I am going to stop and see if he needs help because he didn't look like he was in a good way.
He looked like he was kind of out of his mind. I mean, you could tell he was really upset and something was bothering him.
And I thought, okay, I am going to stop and see if he's okay, which is kind of big for me. Like, even if James didn't stop, I was going to do it. And that's kind of big for me just because I've always kept to I don't talk to people, strangers especially. Like, it was hard for me. But at that time, like, I knew I had to do something. This guy didn't look like he was doing very well.
He was dying.
Yeah. And he was just a young kid, really.
Yeah. And he even had the same name as my son. His name was Tristan.
Yeah.
And that's what was odd later when we got to know him. I was like,
so, Blizzard stopped. She made sure we stopped.
So she did the initial greeting.
Yeah, and he wasn't having a good day, of course.
At all,
Yeah, he had been out in the sun all day long.
His dad dropped him off from Florida.
His dad drove him here from Florida and just dropped him off and left.
At Pleasant Hill to, with his friends.
He was supposed to meet up with friends, which he did, I guess.
Yeah, they swam.
But then they just abandoned him and...
He was thirsty.
It was a hot day that day, so hot, and he couldn't get water from anyone. They wanted to charge for it uptown, and
wouldn't let him even charge his phone.
He had nothing on him.
He tried to charge his phone. Somebody came out and made a big deal about it. His anger, he smashed his phone.
Yeah.
So he ended up with no phone, nothing, and he was just basically sitting there and just like, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. No one's going to help me. It's COVID.
And I think he was a little, from the heat and no water, his mind wasn't
there.
Yeah.
He was distorted on stuff he was saying.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, let's figure this out. So we got him home.
We actually brought him home with us. We walked him home with us.
And
which is scary in itself because well, you're bringing someone in your home with your wife. You know what I mean?
No, he could have had a gun or anything.
We didn't know
yeah.
him, and
So we
yeah.
got him there and gave him the best seat in the house. Like we felt like, well, here, sit here. And we were just kind of, hey, what do you need? You need some water? You need some food? And I think he was half scared of us, because like, what are these people acting like this toward? And we were just like, oh man, God's actually given us an opportunity to,
And we just prayed for it that morning.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's in the back of our heads. And so my wife went, like, I think you got.
Well, yeah, I got him some water.
So you went upstairs to give him. We asked him if he'd like a Bible. I said, hey, would you like a Bible or some tracts? He was like, yeah,
well,
not a little Bible.
Start off, we had some Christian shirts on.
Yeah.
Like, rewind. We had some Christian shirts on, and he mentioned, like, it brought up the conversation where he talked about our shirts.
Okay, so I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it brought up the conversation, and so that's why we asked, would you like a Bible? And we have all kinds of tracts if you want any of those. I'm like,
we were just excited somebody actually wanted the stuff. We bought it and no one seemed to want anything we had.
This kid came to the right house.
And he was like,
we had just gone through the evangelism course with Ray Comfort, and we had
Way of the Master.
Tons of Bible tracts, and
we still do, because we've been buying them. We buy them all the time and give them out. So
I went upstairs to get the Bible.
So when she left, he looks over at me with such compassion. He's like, he's like, I don't know if he called me, what he called me, probably Jane, or I don't know if he knew my name even. He goes, sir, or whatever he called me. But he goes, would God accept me for, and then he mentioned what he did. He went to prison for something, but he never, it's one of those things, I don't even remember what he said. Mm-hmm. And I said, and I just like, yeah, it's not defined about, there were sinners, and, we're all sinners. And I kind of mentioned that, but I didn't know a lot then. But I knew, I was like, now if a church doesn't accept you for your tattoos or whatever you have.
That's what he asked too.
Yeah,
like
my tattoos, yeah.
Like, he was afraid about going to church because he was covered in tattoos and everything.
And I mentioned,
what he had done.
And I mentioned Jeff Durbin. I mean, he's a preacher which has tattoos. It doesn't define him.
Right.
So I just give him hope that, I think if you want a relationship with Jesus Christ, I mean, I want you to go to church and repent. But I don't even know what I said back then, because my faith was so low. I might not know anything to say to him. But we gave him our phone numbers in the Bible and told him if he needed anything to reach out to us. But the one mistake we did make, we sent him off with somebody. He went in Columbus, and I was going to drive him there. He wouldn't even let me drive him there. I think he was fearful where he was going, but it's like, why did I send him?
He didn't want to put us in danger.
And I should just let him stay at our house.
We shouldn't let him go.
I mean, I wish to this day, maybe this video will reach him. We want to know what's happening with him. Tristan, if you're watching this, we want to hear from you again. I mean, he wouldn't take money. I mean, we ended up giving him some cash, but he would not take it. I mean, I said, hey, we wanted his needs when getting clothes. I was trying to figure out, and he's like, dude, I wear that size. I'm like, I'm trying to give him clothes. I mean,
stocked him up with,
trying to help him
with food and stuff to put in his bag on his journey.
And he wouldn't even let the people pick him up at our house. Right. Whoever picked him up to take him to Columbus, he wouldn't even let him know where we lived. And he'd give us a hug. And we told him we loved him. But, there were so many things we wish we'd have done more. Because now we've never seen him again. And we're hoping and praying that he reaches out to us. And I want to hear good results. And bad are good, but I'd like to hear him say, I've got a family now. I'm following Christ. You know what I mean? I pray for that message someday. It was like he was an angel, testing us. It was just, and made us feel good. But then we seen the things that we could have done more. Like I just sent him off.
Yeah, we seen all of this later, and it's like, man, we could have done so much more for him.
And then in a way, it was a praise because we actually did something. So we know we can actually do these things. It wasn't that hard stepping out of our comfort zone, and it worked out. But even if it didn't, I mean, we can't be scared to help people. Because before, I would have just walked right on by the guy, went on probably the other side of the room, just like the Samaritan, where the guy was laying on the road. I would have went on the other side of the road with all the other people, because I'm sure we weren't the only people who went by him.
Well, we don't know who he is, and he's probably on drugs and this and that. Well, you know what? People need help.
Maybe he was just thirsty. Maybe he's hungry. We never, that's what my first
really
thing.
Was.
And that's all he was. And once I got to realizing talking to him, I'm like, this guy's dying. He would have died standing out there, or somebody would have arrested him or something. I mean, he needed help. And we just need to be able to help people and go out of our comfort zones,
It's, as Christians, we should be hospitable. And, like, I didn't even think about it at the time, but looking back, we showed him hospitality. We invited him in our home.
Put him in the best seat we had at the time.
Gave him what we had to give, that we thought of at the time. Of course, we thought of more later, but...
Well, I should have let him stay. I should have took him out, got him another phone, because his phones were only like $50, $40. He had no... there was so much more I would have done for him.
Like, help him get on his feet.
Go get him clothes so he can go get a job.
But we can learn from that for the next time. And hopefully we will hear from him again and see him again. But as Christians, we need to also be prepared. And so that was a good lesson. Just being prepared. Having things you can provide to them. Like we keep a stock of Bibles at the house and gospel tracts for if anyone needs those, if we have an opportunity to give them out. And another way to be prepared is with our knowledge of the Word of God. We have to grow in maturity so that we can be effective.
Well, we need to be mature Christians.
Right.
Like that, in Titus, that's the list of an elder, but it's also a list of a mature Christian at the same time.
Because at that time...
We weren't mature,
But we were just beginning. We were just beginning to grow in our faith. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just showing you that story's more of a... I call it, it's not a failure, but we did do something, but we need to go do something all the time. Not just...
Always be prepared.
Yeah, always be prepared for situations like that. Don't walk on the other side of the road. We have to...
And pray for those situations. That's what's really awesome about it, because we prayed for God to use us some way that day, that morning. And then, that's the kind of prayers He wants to answer. He wants to use you, and He wants to test you to see.
Yeah, will you do what you said you were going to
do?
Yeah. Are you just praying this, or is there a little bit of faith behind your prayer? Because, you have to still do it when you pray for it. That's the hard. The easy part's praying about it. Doing it is what we have to do through the Holy Spirit and through our faith, and that's what tests our faith. And, and
before we walked up to Him, I was already in prayer asking God, okay, God, help me get out of my shell and talk to Him, and then help me deal with whatever happens after I talk to Him, like with what...
Showing love, like He's not a burden for us. We wanted to help Him, and He was like, well, what's wrong with these people? Why are they trying to be so nice to me? It might have been a little overwhelming to Him, too.
Is that somebody riding their lawnmower down
Yes, I believe so. They're mowing the road. That's what we do in Paris, we mow the road. There's so much weeds and stuff in it. Okay.
But so we just wanted to give you encouragement to be in prayer for these kind of things, and you like us, we did something, but we are always going to think of, well, we should have done more.
Yeah.
But don't beat yourself up about it. There will always be more opportunities.
Learn from your opportunities.
And pray for them.
Yeah, and it teaches us to pray more, and now our knowledge. It teaches us to read more, so we have more knowledge. Like when He came to us, I wish I could talk to Him again, because I have so much more. God's given us so much more knowledge since then, but those opportunities, that will happen again in my life, and do not pass them up. Yeah. So that's just a little encouragement, and we love you. We'll talk to you later, and have a good rest of your day.
Yes, and I have one more thing.
Oh, two more things.
Tell us in the comments of any of your experiences. We would love to hear some of your opportunities that you've had to share, and even failures that you've had. And
because there's going to be failures, but don't let them stop you.
Ways we can learn from it. Yeah.
If somebody throws a track back at you, pick it up and go to the next person. Don't let that stop your whole faith walk. Because we're out to give the gospel, and we're not going to be, it's not going to be accepted every time, So we just got to be strong in our faith. All right.
All right. Now I'll
Now we're
let you
done.
go.
All right. Now we still love you, and we'll see you later.
Like and
All
subscribe.
right. Talk to you later.
Bye. You're taking pictures.